Hello. Once again, we are reading Inside Out by Terry Truman. This is Miss Ellison's Reader's Notebook. Okay, last time we read the young robbers, Alan and Joey, had made arrangements for Zach's psychologist, Dr. Curtis, to come and oversee the hostage um, situation and help them avoid a little bit of jail time. Zach is going to stay and the rest of the hostages are going to go. Now, after I finished reading that, I said that I believe that Rat and Dirtbag, who are those voices that kind of talk to Zach, they're going to show up because Zach has been worried about that for a while. So that's what I'm going to be thinking about just for my prediction while I read. The strategy that I'm mainly going to focus on today is going to be considering the pressures that are exerted on a character. So, for example, this young man, he doesn't look very happy, and it's possibly due to some things going on in his life. Let's pretend in the book I'm reading, there's this young man who is new at a school and he's having a hard time fitting in, and he feels pressure to do that. Maybe he's having a hard time with his schoolwork and he has pressure on himself to get his grades up so that he can pass his classes. Maybe he has been meeting some people and they're doing some things that aren't the best, and maybe they're giving him some peer pressure there. And maybe, he's got to babysit for his family. Like a lot of you have to do things like that. So there's a lot of pressures on this kid and it is affecting him. So what we want to do is we are going to consider how that will be affecting our main characters in this story. So for our reading today, I'm going to get started, but I'm going to be thinking about all three of the main boys that we have left in the story. We'll say that the two young boys on the left here are Alan and Joey, and that the one on the right is Zach. Let's see. Okay, where we start today is chapter 11, and it starts out with a letter, just like every other chapter. It's giving us some more insight into Zach. This is a letter from Miss Emily Wasted to Dr. Cal Curtis. It reads, Zach told me that a new voice constantly calls him worthless, a worthless wastoid. Zach says he tries to ignore this, but that when he does, another new voice, the second one, screams at him. I don't know how to answer when Zach asks me why they hate him so much. When he asks me what he ever did to them to deserve this. What he ever did to anyone. Right, back to the main story. Alan picks up the phone and dials the number the cops gave him and says, We're going to send everyone out but Zach. The kid whose mom called before, he's going to stay with us until we see the deal in writing from you and his shrink gets here and tells us that it all looks all right. Alan pauses and listens, then says, No, he's not being kept against his will. He agreed to stay free and clear. Alan listens some more and turns to me. He covers the mouthpiece on the phone and says, Damn it, the cops want to talk to you. I say, Okay. I take the phone from Alan. His hand shakes as he hands it to me. I say, Hello? The voice says, You need to come out of there, son. You think so? Yes, otherwise you're in real danger. Not to mention, by not leaving, you could be aiding and abetting in the commission of a felony. I don't know what abetting means. You know right from wrong, don't you? The cop asks, sounding kind of mad. The truth is, the whole right from wrong thing is a little confusing for me at times. Maybe not, I answer. Don't get smart with me, son. Wing wong, smarty smart dong dong. The cop says, If you stay in there of your own free will, we cannot promise that you won't get hurt. Do you like maple bars? I ask. Jesus! The cop snaps. Suddenly, I hear my mom's voice in the background. I can't hear all she says. but some parts of it come over the line, including talk to my son that way, yell at my boy, and now mom says some swear words too. I hear the cop speaking back to mom like he's sorry, which I bet he is. It's not a good idea to get my mom pissed at you for being mean to me. Dr. Kurt once said, your mom's a butt kicker and a name taker when it comes to protecting you, Zach. You're lucky to have her. The cop says to me, listen, Zachary, I'm sorry I yelled at you, and I interrupted him. That's okay, but I'm tired of talking. My skin is starting to feel like ants are crawling all over me again, and the zombie girl and the skinny suit are both staring at me. I say, thanks for calling. Have a nice day. Bye. I hang up. Alan says, that was easy. I ask, it was? If you say so. Hey, do you see ants crawling on me? Alan shakes his head and looks down. I think I make him uncomfortable. I do that to people. Suddenly, the zombie girl says to me, there aren't any ants on you. I'm afraid to look at her again, but finally I do. She looks normal now. Maybe she's okay, but zombies can be tricky. I'm still going to keep my eyes on her. Go ahead, wastoid. Show them how stupid you are. I put my hands up over my ears and the voice stops for now. But I need my meds. I need them bad. Alan looks around the room at everybody and says, we're going to let you go in a minute or two, so don't try anything stupid, okay? It'd be kind of a shame to have to shoot all of you now. Alan pauses a second. He turns to me. You too, Zach. Chapter 12. Again, a letter begins the chapter. This is also a letter from Miss Emily Wasted to Dr. Kyle Curtis. Zach says he's tried to ignore the terrible new voices, but that after listening to them for weeks on end, death feels like his only escape. He told me death feels like a good idea. Yesterday, Zach came home from school before I got back from shopping. And the text continues with the story we're reading now. Except for Alan and Joey and me, all the other people here in the back of the coffee shop are ready to leave. As soon as the two old ladies stand up, they straighten their clothes like they planned it out together ahead of time. The fat suit shirt is stretched really wide across his big belly, and the button just below his tie has come undone. I say to him, pointing at it, your button's undone there. Oh, he says, and quickly buttons up. Thanks, he mumbles. He hasn't looked at me hardly at all. I look around at everyone else as they stand up. Maybe this sounds bad, but I don't care about any of them. They're strangers, and they're just like everyone else I ever meet. As much like zombies as humans. I glance again at the store girl in skinny suit real fast when I think this. I wonder if they can read my mind. Most people remind me of characters in a cartoon, zombie characters. I know that most other people aren't like me. I think that's why they don't like me much. The lady with the little girl steps over to where I'm standing and looks at me. Thank you so much, she says softly, for helping us. I say, you're welcome, even though I don't really know what she means. If it weren't for you staying here, I'm not sure they would let us go. I'm not sure what might have happened if it weren't for you. She starts to cry. I don't know what to do, so I say, I'm sorry. The fixer upper words. Pardon me? She asks softly. I'm sorry you're sad. But as I'm saying this, I blurt out, you're pretty. The second I say it, I know I'm being inappropriate. But she is very pretty. Her eyes look friendly, like dog's eyes. I say to the lady again, you're pretty. I also say, just to try and explain what I mean, you have nice dog eyes. This sounds goofy even to me. Ring long hong hong long dong long dong long dong. The voice is making fun of me for liking this grown-up lady and for calling her a pretty dog-eyed person. It's also talking about my dong, and I feel my face get red. So I say, I don't mean that in a bad way. She smiles at me and touches my arm and says, thank you, again. Okay, I say. But when she touches me, I think about her hugging her daughter after the little girl peed, and I can't help but wonder if the lady's hand has pee on it. While I'm thinking this, the lady hugs her little girl close to her again. I know this pretty mom wouldn't rub her little girl's nose in the sheets if the little girl wet the bed. I'll bet this mom would just give her a little daughter a maple bar or something. Life is so weird. One kid gets a nose full of pee, another kid gets loved to bits. Heck, I don't even care if this lady has pee on her hand or not. Life is too weird to worry about a little pee here and there. Alan picks up the phone and says, everyone but Zach is coming out now. He hangs up. Alan turns to everyone and says, okay, you guys, get out of here. Alan and Joey and I peek out the door of the back room as everyone walks away from us. I can't believe that it's dark out now. When we came into this room, it was daytime, but now it's night already. Sometimes it's hard for me to keep track of time. To be honest, time doesn't make sense to me anymore. Time, grime, pantomime, long gong, long gong, long gong, long gong. The itching on my skin is getting worse. I feel hot now, too. The others move slowly toward the door. The police shine bright lights through the windows. They're kind of blue. All the people look blue, which makes them all look like zombies. I know they're not really zombies, but even the store girl, or skinny suit, at least, I don't think so, but I'm not sure anymore. Why is everybody moving so slowly? Why don't they just walk out? Then maybe the blue zombie light will shut off. I'd like that. When you get to the door, step out very slowly, one at a time. Put your hands behind your head and walk directly to the policeman waiting for you. The skinny suit goes out first. He puts his hands up behind his head, just like he's supposed to, and disappears into the blue light. Next, the fat suit leaves. Now the old ladies. Now the store guy and the girl. As everyone goes through the door and walks out, it's pretty quiet. Nobody says anything, and the only sounds are the sounds of police moving around. Finally, the mom and her daughter go out together. The mom holds the little girl close to her side until they reach the door. Now the little girl puts her hands up behind her head, just like her pretty mom. Weird. Do the cops think the little girl with the wet spot on her dress is some kind of kidnapping midget terrorist or something? I laugh out loud at this thought. Joey gives me a dirty look. The bright lights glaring through the window makes it hard to see what happens to everybody once they're out of the coffee shop. For all I know, they could be out there shaking hands with the President of the United States. Except he's not here. He's probably in Washington, D.C., keeping the world safe for democracy and stuff. One thing's for sure, though. All this action, all this fuss, and still no maple bars. I think the least that should happen is that I should get a maple bar. Why did I stay here? Chapter 13. A letter from Miss Emily Wasted to Dr. Cal Curtis. Zach says the two new voices kept torturing him, begging him to kill himself, so he went to my bedroom closet and found the rifle I kept for our protection. Back to the story. To be honest, I'm glad everybody except Alan and Joey and I are gone. Most of the time, like I said, I'm not that thrilled to be around people because they usually just confuse me. I always feel more relaxed when I'm alone, except for the times when I'm alone for too long and Dirtbag and Rat come after me. Now that it's just Alan and Joey and me, And since I'm sitting up in a chair instead of on the floor, I feel a lot better. It also feels like there's a ton of room back here now with all the others gone. I feel pretty happy actually, even without a maple bar. It's nice to feel happy and to know I'm feeling it. Does that make any sense? I just mean it's so unusual that I feel anything. This is pretty much the way it goes for people with my kind of brain. We just don't feel things. It's hard to explain. Alan interrupts my thoughts. So, Zach, this Curtis guy is your doctor? Why is your brain so messed up? He hesitates a second, then says, Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like, never mind. I ask him, Why do you guys do this robbery? Why do you need money so bad? Alice, Alan looks at me a second before he answers. Our mom has cancer. We don't have any medical bills. We don't have any medical insurance because mom had to quit her job. She's really sick from chemotherapy and radiation treatments, and her medicine costs a fortune. We're down to nothing. We had to get some money, so I came up with this idiotic idea. Where's your dad? I ask. Dads sometimes help with money. Joey says, We don't even know if he's alive. Alan interrupts, yelling, Joey, he's alive. But then Alan says, We just don't know where he is. I say, My dad left too a long time ago. But the truth is, I don't even remember him, and I don't even think about him. Long gone, like you, boo-hoo, long gone. Alan pauses a few seconds and stares at me. I'm sorry you got caught up in this, and I'm sorry if we scared you and kept you here. But the truth is, we'd do anything to help our mom. I try to understand and I say, I know what you mean. My mom makes meals for me and cleans all my clothes and picks me up after school and gives me my medicine. I try to think of some other reasons to care about my mom. All I can come up with is, she used to hide Easter eggs for me when I was little. I like eggs. I try to think of anything else, anything more that I can figure out why I'm glad my mom is around. But finally, I give up. Joey says, Our mom used to do that kind of stuff for us too. Alan looks at him and says, When mom gets well, she'll do those things again, Joey. Joey looks at the floor and nods his head. Yeah, sure, he says, so softly that I can barely hear him. I ask, Is your mom gonna die? The second I ask this, I wonder if it's appropriate. Joey gives me a mean look, but Alan answers, No, I hope not. We don't know for sure, but I don't think she will. Joey stares back at the floor. He doesn't look at either of us, but he says, If prayers ever came true, Mom won't die. If there really is a God, and he doesn't finish this thought. Alan asks me, So this brain thing you've got, when did you know you had it? I try to explain. When I was 14, I started to hear voices and got all confused and got to go to the hospital. They said I have schizophrenia. Alan asked, So that's when you were messed up, huh? I mean, that's when you knew you were sick? I think about it. No, not really at first. I didn't know for sure then. I mean, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know how bad it would get until I crash. My words are cut off by a loud sound from outside the coffee shop. It's a big crashing sound like the cops are breaking down the door or kicking in the glass. Alan and Joey both jump up and pull out their guns real fast. Alan moves over to the door so he can look out. Joey yells to Alan, Are they coming? Alan yells back, I don't know. He turns to me and says, Get over in that closet, Zach. Stay out of the way. I say, I won't get in your way. Go! Alan yells. I don't want you to get hurt. I go across the room, up to the closet, and pull it open. It's kind of dark in there, but it's not really a closet. Through the dark, I see a freezer and some shelves. There's also a door that leads outside. I glance back over my shoulder. Alan is peeking out at the cops. In the instant he starts to pull his head back, there's another huge noise, the loud cracking sound of a gunshot. Alan falls from the doorway and down onto his knees, dropping the gun, which slides across the slick linoleum floor and ends up right at my feet. Joey screams. No words, just a scream. Alan lifts his hands to his face. I pick up the gun. It's real heavy. It seems to be alive, like it's breathing. I know guns aren't alive, but it feels like it is. I hold the gun carefully and look back at Alan again. He is kneeling on the floor, holding his face. I see blood on his fingers. Okay, so that is where we're going to stop reading for today. Now let's think about the pressures these characters are under. Okay, so it seems to me that the two boys, Alan and Joey, have a lot of pressures on them since their mom has cancer. Her having cancer is putting pressure on them. All the medical bills is putting pressure. Right now, they're feeling some pressure to stay out of prison. And then I think that Alan in particular, since he yelled at Zach to go to the closet, Alan is trying to keep Zach from getting hurt, and he has some pressure on himself to make sure that Zach is safe. Because neither of these boys wanted anyone to get hurt from the beginning. So I think those are the pressures that those two boys are really dealing with. Zach, on the other hand, has more individual sort of pressures. Zach is definitely focused on himself. He doesn't know that he cares very much for other people, but he does make attempts to be normal, like saying sorry to someone who's crying, um, or he was worried about telling the lady that she had pretty dog eyes, because that's kind of weird, and even he knows that. So he does put some pressure on himself to try and be normal. But also, he has pressure from his sickness, which causes him to be suicidal. And what I mean when I say his sickness is that since he has schizophrenia, he has these voices, and these voices are clearly calling him worthless and making him feel like he should kill himself. Right from the very beginning of this book, we read about that time that he did try to kill himself, and Dirtbag and Rat were telling him, "Do it, do it, do it, Wastoid." So those are some very important pressures that are definitely going to come into play, and something we need to consider while we think about our characters. We do always want to think about our predictions after we read a section of a text. So I just wanted to say that I did think that Dirtbag and Rat were going to show up. I'm not sure if they actually take any kind of physical form. Like, I'm not sure if he can ever see them, but they specifically have not been talking to him. So I wrote that they haven't shown up yet, but he is starting to hear a lot more chatter from the voices. You know, when I'm saying wing wong gong gong, that's not actually being said anywhere. Those are sounds that he's hearing in his head that aren't real. Now, after reading through chapter 13, I believe someone is going to get seriously hurt. Zach has a gun now, and he's really late on his meds. And he's almost shot himself before. I He thinks people are zombies sometimes. I think that this just got very dangerous. So that's what we're gonna have to see next time. That will be all for our video this time. Next time we will start with chapter 14. Thanks, guys.